This gives us about 2.5 miles of additional protection that raises it roughly from the 22 feet to 24 feet in some areas of the city. Tiger dams are going to be using a shorter area up in Time Check that goes basically from Ellis Lane down to Penn along Ellis, right along the sidewalks. So each of them have a different purpose and a different location use. Some of the key differences is where are we going to use them, how do we use them, and what other additional equipment do we need to purchase or at least put on rent or rent to hold bases to fill them. For example, what you see here is a straight line on a fairly flat area. Once we get into Time Check, or more importantly, once we get by the Great America building or Smolikoff's, one of the things we've already started looking for is a conveyor to move the material behind the building in that area. Our biggest concern right now is the access behind buildings. That's why we want to use a conveyor. Secondly, the conveyor will allow us to use it for other purposes. We can then use it for salt movement into our site. We basically have 72 hours from the time that we think it's going over 20 feet when it actually hits 20 feet. And when you start deploying these, at the same time you're like, do I deploy if it's 21 or 22 feet? It's a lot of response. Or do we think it's going to be needed or not, because it's a lot of money both ways. So it's a fine line, but if you know it's going there, our council already has given us direction that if it goes above 20 feet, we are to deploy, and that's what we will do.